I think we're on. 1 second, let me double check. All right, we are. All right, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the very first Patreon exclusive webinar. Everybody, we are so excited to have you guys here today. We are so excited for you guys to be a part of this. Our Patreon crew is amazing crew. All of you guys have been so amazing, helping out, giving ideas for the polls, everything else. I want to let everybody know up front too, this webinar will be released to the public. And that is an issue for some of you who might be sharing your names who didn't want to share outside of Patreon. You can go back through the questions and tell them that you want to put a nickname or alias or something. But the reason also I'm saying that is because everyone who is watching right now who's not on Patreon, in the next couple months, and we don't know how we're going to do this exactly, but we're going to integrate this monthly webinar back as an every month part of our whole ET Whisper experience. And by doing that, what we plan on doing is setting this up for people who are in Patreon to watch it live and to be a part, or if you don't join Patreon, you can still purchase a ticket to do this. And we'll probably switch this around January or February. The thing is, if you're on Patreon, the basic package that we have for $11 comes with a webinar as a part of that exclusive package. But if you're not on Patreon, it'll be the same price it used to be, which I believe is $17 or $18. So in my opinion, if I were anyone who was doing a webinar, I would rather pay $11 to watch the same webinar plus get multiple extra videos per month, all the polling and being able to do that. But this is for people who don't want to go into the Patreon because it is a commitment. Although you can stop Patreon anytime you want, they still bill you monthly. If you forget to cancel it out, then you're going to get a monthly bill for whatever package you chose. So we're doing this as a part of our monthly experience, but eventually we're going to wind it out to adding people who don't necessarily want to be on the Patreon, but we want to make sure it's available for our Patreon people, because all of you who watched the poll this month know that me and Kalina are going to try to integrate a good majority of our work through the Patreon account. This doesn't mean we're not going to do monthly one-on-one sessions with people. This doesn't mean we're going to stop doing the open forum. This doesn't mean we're going to stop doing our monthly Galactic channelings. What it means is we're going to try to integrate it where we can get enough income from the Patreon itself and do webinars and do other videos, so we can put out multiple videos on Patreon per month instead of 1, 2, or sometimes 3 like we have in the last few months. This month has been relatively slow till the end of the month, but all of you who've been here on Patreon for a few months know that it all is dictated by when my son's at his mom's house, and he just went to his mom's house Saturday. So the next 2 weeks we're going to be actually doing our event in Asheville, but besides that, we're going to be shooting Patreon stuff too. So basically, we're going to try to create the Patreon as our main place of energy and work and produce a lot of material through Patreon by doing that. And you guys have already helped so much. We've already came to a great place right now with our Patreon, much more than we had anticipated for the first 3 months running. So everyone who is here, thank you guys so much. And we're going to continue to build this up so we can make it as frequent as possible. One of the other ideas was going to be starting to integrate the Enlightenment Evolution Hour into this also as part of the Patreon, so that we can broadcast here, take live questions on Wednesdays once we get to that point, and then be able to share that also on YouTube. And we'll reintegrate the whole system, and our Patreon people will have participation rights and ability to come in and chat with everybody. So that is kind of where we're trying to head, is getting this Patreon as a part of the ET Whisper as wide as we can and put as much as we can here. We're also considering doing random pop-ins live broadcasts. Like this is a planned at 2 p.m. on Sunday, but just sometime I'm going to say, hey, everyone, anyone who wants to join me in an hour just to talk and take questions and shoot the crap around a little bit, we can do that too. So ideally, that's what we're going to try to do with Patreon, and doing stuff like this is a part of our expansion to it. So thank all of you guys who are doing this, and thank all of you guys from YouTube who are watching it. Even if you're not interested in Patreon, thank you guys for your love and support on YouTube too. Before we start, there's a couple announcements, and I don't like to make announcements with the Patreon people too much because you guys are already so aware of what's going on. But because this is rebroadcasted on YouTube, I want to share a little bit about what we're going to be doing here by the end of the year for ET Whisper and Arcturian Starseed, which is Kalina's channeling. Me and her are both going to be at the Asheville 3-day workshop, and that's going to be October 7th, 8th, and 9th, which is a Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And we do a 3-day workshop where we have 3 8-hour days, and we're going to be, I'm going to be doing at least 2 channelings per day there, usually 90 minutes to 2 hours. So for, 3 to 4 hours of my channeling, plus Kalina's going to be sharing her channeling, plus we both teach classes. The last few years there, we've taught meditation, we've taught channeling classes, we've taught 10-step process, we've taught a lot of different techniques that you guys can use in your everyday life. And this one's going to be inner disclosure for this year. So teaching you how to disclose all the information you need internally and to connect to ET, extra dimensional, spirit, angel, all that types of energy sources within yourself. So it's going to be amazing. That's in Asheville, North Carolina, and it's going to be at the Holiday Inn downtown, which I believe is 42 Tunnel Road. All the information's at etwhisper.com/workshops with an S. Also, we are going to be doing the 2017 channel panel, and this is going to be in Burbank, California this year. A lot of people who are going to be flying in, we wanted to let everybody know there is a separate airport in Burbank, and I didn't know about that. Kalina didn't know about that until about a month ago. So we're trying to get people who are flying in to know that they don't have to drive 2 hours from the LAX to get to the Burbank studio, but it's going to be at the Colony Theater on, I believe it's 555 3rd Street. But either way, it's the Burbank Colony Theater, and we're going to have a 12-hour day there of all channeling. And we're going to have 9 different channelers, including myself and Kalina. We're also going to have Daryl Anka. We're going to have Wendy Kennedy, Nora Harold. We're going to have Lee Harris, Sean Swanson, Daniel Scranton, and Karen Newman also. All 9 of us are going to be there, all of us channeling for an hour, taking Q&A. And that is going to be a live event only. We're not doing a live stream, nor are we doing live stream. We never do live stream at the workshop, the 3-day workshop. But both of those are going to be live attendance events only. And with the channel panel, we're going to try to have the video up in 3 months afterwards for sale. But to see it live, you have to be there. You can't do it from the live stream. So those are the announcements, along with all the things we're trying to do with Patreon. And I just want to let you guys know I am so personally excited, not just to be here, but to be a part of everything. And, oh, yes, okay. And everything will be great. So right now, because we're already a few minutes into the broadcast and all of you guys are excited for the channeling, I'm going to turn this over to Kalina. She's going to walk you through how to send the questions, how many questions you can do, all the sorts of stuff like that. Plus, she's going to share anything she wants to share with you guys while I go into my neutralization time, 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to neutralize my energy, and then I'll start bringing in Aridif and Treb. Kalina will walk you through, too, and let you know how to get what question to who and how and why and where and when and all that good stuff. So I love you guys very, very much. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. We are so excited to have our webinars back on, and we're hoping that we'll be able to do this this time and also for November. And December is going to be really packed with holidays and the channel panel event, but hopefully we can squeeze one in too for December at one point, either early in the month or later in the month. We're going to try to make this a truly monthly event for this time going forward. We love you guys. I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm going to let Kalina jump in. We love you guys so much, and thank you again for being part of the ET Whisper Patreon exclusive webinar. Love you guys.
Hey everybody, it's the voice of Kalina Angell. Rob has my camera, so we do this all the time. Anyway, I just wanted to say, first of all, hello to everybody. And it's really, really easy as far as where you would send your questions. If you look in the chat room, which for most of you will be located on the right-hand side, some of you might actually have your chat room below the video, just depending on where it's set up. Oh, sorry, Jana, I'm not sure what to do about the audio. 1 second. Hey, sweetie? Yeah. Can you come in maybe and help me with the audio? We were having this issue earlier, but I have no idea how to fix it. I might try to see if we can switch out the mic, if it's possible. Switch out the mic, go to the wheel. Yeah, but it wasn't allowing me to configure it. Let me put this on mute real quick. Sorry, guys. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Much better. I'm going to take a look and see how you guys are. How does this sound, guys? Okay, no Rob can hear me. Awesome, awesome, yay. I just needed Rob's help. I had another kind of headphones, which I don't really like, for the Bluetooth one, but I couldn't figure out how to get the other ones, and literally, once Rob walked in the room, everything fell together, so he's like literally a magical man, so he is. I'm going to neutralize. Okay, Rob's going to neutralize. Now we'll get into this. Let's see, where was I? Okay, let me repost this here. So this link right here that I've posted into the chat room, if you click on that, there are two places where you can send questions. It's just basically a form. And the reason I'm having you guys send it here is so I can keep up with it. It doesn't get lost in chat because I'm toggling between different windows and I don't want to miss anything. And hopefully we're going to be able to do all two questions for each of you, but I'm going to try to make sure that I get at least one from all of you guys. So if you decide at any point that you want to change your question, you can. Order of importance, I'm definitely going to emphasize more on question one, being the one you're more excited about. And then also when you fill this out, make sure you scroll to the bottom and hit the submit button. It'll give you, it'll let you know if it's gone through or not. We'll basically be saying thank you, you are loved at the end. So it's pretty simple. There's not really anything more to it than that. And if you guys ever have any questions or concerns about it, or if you have any technical issues, then you can just let me know in the chat, or you can let me know at my email address. And I'm going to put that here just a second. There you go. And let's see what else. One of the things I do too is, I know a lot of you guys can see each other here. Some of you guys have your actual names, and some of you guys might be having your alias names, but you're more than welcome to make up a name for yourself if you want to be more anonymous, or you can just say anonymous, because we respect you guys' privacy. Because a lot of us, I mean, most of these end up, when we do webinars and things, they eventually end up going out to the collective. Some of them may not, but just in case, we always want to make sure that if you guys want to add something very private and very personal, then you can just come up with, you know, a different name. So, but anyway, that's cute. Anyway, do you guys have any other questions while Rob neutralizes? some of you guys might be wondering, what does it mean when Rob neutralizes? I think most of you guys know. But it's a way for him to, he kind of meditates and he grounds himself. It's also a way for him to throw out any energies that might be causing either, you know, we're humans, right? We have daily situations or frustrations, or sometimes we can get too excited about something, and it's a way for him to neutralize himself when he goes into his meditation. And then he goes into his special kind of toning, which hopefully he'll share with us today, because I think it's the most awesome thing. And he basically takes his chakras and himself, and it goes out, up, and he actually projects out to Treb, and then Treb's energy is basically coming back down into his body. It's very unique from, I think, that a lot of channelers do, you know. So Treb and Aridif are always there with him, but this is really just a way for him to get more connected. And when he projects out to Treb, what I mean by that, for those of you guys that don't know the story, is Treb is able to split his consciousness, where he's able to be in multiple places at once. And so while we're talking to, say, Treb or Aridif, Rob is actually visiting Treb most of the time. I'd say probably about 95% of the time that's where he's at and what he's doing. And it's just a really amazing thing for him. I think that's just the coolest thing. So I think it's with the water. So I think while Rob is doing his grounding and neutralizing, that we should take a few breaths and kind of sit in and meditate a little bit. Because I'm super excited right now, in case you guys can't tell, I love these webinars. And that's good, but we want to really sit in and connect to the earth and to the galactic energies as well. And really think about what our deepest questions are. This is why I have it set on to, if you wanted to change any of your questions, but sometimes you'll hear someone else ask the same kind of, you'll end up getting your question answered. We really want to think about what we really truly want to know. But sometimes we'll ask something and then we realize we had a deeper question. And another reason why I think it's important for us to breathe and neutralize is, in all reality, you don't even have to be here to listen to Treb or Aridif, although it's amazing and incredible. But all of us have the answers that we seek within our own selves. We all have our own guides. And so Rob, right now, he's a reflection of what we're capable of doing. We all have that capacity within ourselves. So while Rob is neutralizing, I suggest that you place those questions within your heart center. Connect all of your chakras into the center of the earth. Imagine a stream of the galactic consciousness coming down through your body, connecting all the way down to the center of the earth. Deep breath. Pull the wisdom of the earth and the galactic energies up into yourself, all the way up into your heart center. Into your heart center, and feel the guides that are there with you. You have some guides that are always with you. They're with you on your journey. They're with you in all your hardships and all your sorrows. Everything you've ever been through, from the moment you were born. In some cases, even before that. And you can hold either the questions that you're going to ask Rob or the questions that you have never wanted to dare ask aloud. But either way, hold that and ask your higher self, who is always with you, your guides, who are always with you, for information. And sometimes it can come in the form of a word or a type of vision or a flash of information. It doesn't always come in a bulk, a paragraph, if you will. Sometimes it comes in a way that at the moment you might not entirely understand. It comes later. Sometimes you hold a question and you feel like you've got nothing, but then later on at night you dream. You have a dream about it. What's interesting is once you get some information for yourself, the fun thing to do is you can actually lay it against what Treb or Aridif are going to say here today. It gives you some more information, and it's fun because, as you all know, we're all connected. We're all one. So that is what I suggest going into today, just keeping yourself as grounded and centered as possible, and really listen to yourself because we're all channelers here. Rob is a very powerful channeler, and I just wanted to reiterate again, he is a beautiful reflection of the wisdom that we all have the ability to tap into today. So I just wanted to thank you guys again. I'm going to check in with Rob. I think he's getting closer. All right. So it looks like Rob is ready to channel, and I am definitely ready to receive after our little meditation there. How are you guys feeling?
Everybody I am imagining is super excited. I peeked in at the comments before I jumped on. Just going to take a couple little breaths.
I can't hear you, sweetheart.
Oh, my microphone's on.
Huh.
Can anyone else hear me?
Can you guys hear Rob? I definitely don't. I don't hear him.
As you can tell, there's a good delay there.
Okay, let's see.
Can everyone else hear me?
I can't hear you, sweetheart, but it looks like everybody else can hear you, but I can't hear you.
Okay.
That can be an issue because I have to ask the question.
Did you go to the wheel part, and switch for your headphones to be on? Click your speaker tab, the third one down, and switch it up a little bit until you can hear me, because it's going to be important for you to hear Treb Aridif too, to know when to ask the next question.
There you are. There
I am, huh?
Okay,
all right, beautiful.
Gotcha.
All right, so I'm going to take a quick little breath real quick here. And while I'm doing that, guys, I just want to remind you, when you're asking the personal questions about your life and yourself, Aridif and Treb are going to look at your energy, at your higher self, all the different beings and guides that connect to you. And that's important because as Kalina walked you through that breathing and relaxing and neutralizing, that helps reflect the best possible scenario and the best possible case for you. So just remember to enjoy yourself today, because that's what it's about. It's about excitement, it's about fun, and it's about living from your heart. So this can be a wonderful and not scary experience. And sometimes people do get a little scared with, I don't know if I'm ready to hear the information, but if you're ready to ask it, you're ready to hear it. And Aridif and Treb always will tell you what's in alignment with your own energy, not something that's so far outside of it. Doesn't mean it'll always resonate with you at the moment, but when you're ready for that information, it'll definitely hit your heart or your mind in a special way. So I love you guys. I'm going to take 2 more deep breaths real quick. Oh, I'm going to take a drink out of my hillbilly jug of water. All right, guys, let's rock and roll. Love you, baby. Thank you, Kalina, for taking the questions, doing the moderation. You're always amazing. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And thank all of you guys for being here. I love you too, sweetie. All right, we'll see you guys on the other side.
And
I will. You too.
Tell Treb hello from all of us.
Will do. Love you guys. Love you, baby.
Too. Love you too.
Here we go.
All righty. I'm going to mute my mic, guys, while he comes in. And then I'll be unmuting my mic during questions, so you have less noise in the background.
Greetings to all. This is Aridif. That is A-R-I-D-I-F. This is its spell. We know that all of you have many queries for this day, but before diving into those queries, there are three things that we wish to express. The first thing, above and beyond all things expressed within this day, to know, feel, and perceive that you are loved is of the utmost importance. As all of you are aware, two entities that are separate from one another, that express I love you, is one concept that an energy can be accepted or can be withdrawn by either parties. But when you are loved, there is no one direction where it comes from. It comes from the infinite amount of consciousness that is available and exists within your own realm. You are loved. Secondly, we wish to express it is the greatest excitement for us to co-create with you in this moment. Each moment, from this moment to the next moment, and every now moment afterwards. Thirdly, we wish to express to all of you that as you go towards the end of your year, the December area, towards the solstice of winter, all of the energy that is culminated through difficulties of this year will start to release itself towards that direction. Some of you, there will be a heightened intensity of your problems leading up to and slightly after the 21st, but much of the energies of any of the places in your life in which you carry resistance will start melting away. That energy is going to allow you to create and co-create with a much higher degree or a much higher percentage of entities around you. While many of you are lone wolves and only co-create with yourself as far as your own expansion or spirituality goes, you'll find that the spirituality style of community that you desire is right around that corner. There are many entities, whether you are aware or not, that lie directly within your vicinity, and all that you must do to co-create with them is start putting your own energy of excitement outward. For those of you who live in places where those communities are readily available, you will find that more of those entities that you have not been able to communicate with, or that you have desired to be a part of a group that they have created, that energy will start coalescing and co-creating in that moment also. As for all of your own inspiration, all of your own desires to co-create with others, with yourself, and any of those projects that you have desired to start for so long, in the last 1.5 years, you will find that a great deal of the manifestations within your own heart and mind will start showing themselves by the very first steps during the change of your year to the beginning of the next year. So expressing your desire, staying within your realm of excitement, and allowing experiences to come without anticipating or without preconceived notions of how it comes will give you the greatest opportunity to create them. We wish to express to all of you that in that time change, your happy new year can be one that is truly happy for you. We will now take your queries at your leisure. Also, greetings, Kalina.
Hi, Aridif. I first want to say thank you so much for joining us today, and also to Treb, because I know he'll be here too.
Yes, of course.
We love you guys very much, and we're always grateful for you to be here. Okay, so
yes.
So our first question, we'll kick off with Brennan, and Brennan says, "Greetings, Aridif. Could you relay a message from one of my galactic guides and let me know who is connecting to me right now? You are loved."
Yes, of course. When you are looking at who is connecting now, as you are aware, it is not just one energy. It is a multitude of consciousnesses that both are connected to you in this moment and have the capacity to connect to you more deeply in the time periods that you call within 1 week, within 1 month, or even within 1 year. There are literally dozens of beings that are connecting with your energy in this moment. One energy that is stronger than the others as far as its own excitement to connect and its own percentage of connectivity to your overall consciousness is an entity that is Pleaidian in nature, entity that comes from the star that you call Electra in the Pleiadian system. This entity is humanoid consciousness, and this entity is also fifth density being. It expresses a great deal of many things, but we will connect you more directly so that it may iterate its own perspectives and its own message to you. One moment. Hello, hello, friend. It is wonderful day and a wonderful time to connect with you. Verbally, I now can pronounce all the things in your dreams and all the things energetically that I've wanted to say to you. I wanted to start at a place that you're familiar with, the dreaming state. There have been lacks of dreams, and dreams that are remembered don't have a deal of substance lately for you. So the dreams that you can incorporate into your remembering will be difficult to decipher. You're dealing with a high dimension dreaming state, much higher than your physical body is. And all dreams are more vibrationally high than your physical body is, but this is the highest peak of yourself. This is the highest place where you can go in your dream state. That dream state energy you've been sharing with a council of beings. These council of beings are 8 of all of us put together, and that includes yourself as one of the 8. We get together to talk about the representations of our own races and what we want to do to help connect Earth with other races. My own race has been sending telepathic communications to many humans for hundreds of years, and now we found just in the last 4 years of your Earth years that the amount of humans and percentage by a volume has increased over 3 times the amount. In the 1970s, we reached out to thousands and only connected to less than 12. And in the 90s, we reached out also and only connected to less than 200. And most of those humans weren't aware of what we were sending, but finally understood that they were getting guidance from higher energies or higher parts of their own self that communicate. Now, it's almost the year of 2018 for your calendar, and now we reach out to thousands, and almost 1,100 human beings are receiving our signals, and they're receiving it fully knowing what's receiving. There are another 3,000 beings that are receiving the signals that aren't fully aware of what the signals are, but they still receive. So you have over 4,100 beings that are understanding the connections we sent, and that's just from my race. And the other 6 beings that exist also have connections that they're trying with Earth. There are many of you besides our dear friend Brennan who have your own counsel and your own guidance and your own connection process in dream state. So remember to send your signals out as sleep. But Brennan, it's important for you to know that when you're sleeping and when you're opening your energy up, to try to bring the most relaxed version of you before you sleep. Sometimes your body holds a tenseness, so it doesn't allow much of your consciousness to join that part of the dreams dimensions or dream state dimensions, so you don't remember a lot, or when you do remember, it's very not related. But now you can remember to relax before, and even though the dreams won't make a lot of sense, you'll be able to see the symbols left behind. When you see yourself walking through the woods and there are lots of animals around you, you'll know that those are your friends on the council who are sharing themselves with you, but your brain has to turn it into something that you recognize. So just remember to be the most relaxed and best version of yourself before you sleep, and focus on that energy. It will be important. It is wonderful to have Rob share his energy so I could share mine with you. And I'm going to disconnect now. Thank you. We are back without hesitation or delay. This is Aridif.
Oh, what a sweet being. Thank you so much for your question, Brennan. That was really beautiful. Okay. Let Artist take a sip of water. The hillbilly jug, as Rob called it. Let me know when you're ready, Dickie.
Yes, at your leisure.
Thank you. Okay, so our next question comes from Joseph, and Joseph asks, what technique or meditation is most aligned with my higher self that will help me integrate as much of the higher fractal consciousness as possible? You have my permission to connect with me on all levels.
Yes, first of all, greetings. Secondly, as you co-create an experience technique to utilize the integration of higher fractalized consciousness, first we would express it is not a meditation. In fact, the technique is simply as being your own self. When you are your truest self, at the highest amount of your consciousness, and at the greatest percentage of being what and who you truly are, that is what integrates the higher fractalized consciousness at the highest rate. But we understand that as a human, utilizing meditation is often exciting for you. It is often utilized as a tool to connect your consciousness more directly. So what we can express to you is when you are first connecting to your energy of meditation, utilize the grounding technique to the highest percentage. Both Rob and Kalina have shared this in multiple places, as it is a largely extensive expression. So look into this concept first and learn the grounding technique. Secondly, when you are co-creating the grounding experience within yourself and you feel truly connected to the earth collective consciousness, then you start the visualization of the sphere. And what this is creating yourself within a sphere approximately 3 feet in each direction past your physical body. So by the top of your head and the bottom of your feet, the sphere will go 3 foot beyond both of those areas. When you visualize yourself in this sphere, it would be almost as if you were in a crystalline or glass sphere. It is shiny, but you can see through it. And that construct will hold your own chakra energy towards alignment. After you hold that sphere around you, then go through your chakra system, starting from your root, feeling, perceiving, and connecting to the energy that is within your root chakra. Then continue going through all of the chakras upwards until your crown chakra. Once you perceive and feel and connect to all of those energies, then you create another sphere that is further around your other sphere. So it will go externally, marking your own energy with thousands of feet in each direction, taking up approximately 1,100 to 1,500 feet. After that, you visualize the energy going from a clear glass sphere to one that is colored white. And this will be a very bright white, one that is not seeable, one that you cannot peer through. After creating that sphere, then create a sphere as large as the planetary consciousness itself. That sphere will be the purple-blue color that is called indigo. After you create that sphere, then create a sphere that encompasses the entire solar system. Create that sphere as the color that you call violet. Then you create your galactic sphere. That one will be one that is silver in color. Once you achieve that energy, then shrink all of the spheres down, collapse all of the spheres that are within the layers, starting with galactic, then the solar system, planetary, etc., until they are all collapsed within your crown chakra. That is your portalway to galactic consciousness. That is your own divine energy co-creating with the higher fractal consciousness to integrate any of the galactic information and energy that you desire to have available for you. We thank you.
Thank you so much, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
And also, I want to thank you, Joseph, for your question too. That's really awesome. And I feel like that's something we can, isn't it?
Yes, of course. Each one of you individually and all of you collectively can utilize similar meditative states, visualizations, or techniques to enhance your higher fractalized consciousness. This one specifically is best attuned for the energy of the entity who expressed, named Joseph. That energy is a co-created, connected consciousness to your own energy and is best suited for your higher fractal consciousness integration and communication.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Alrighty. So our next question comes from Jana. And Jana says, please describe in more detail and provide more information about the avian insectoid hybrid race.
Yes, we can tell you approximately similar amounts of information that we've expressed to this previously. We do not believe that an extension of expressing what specifically those entities are or who they are will be of a great benefit to you. We understand that you are highly interested and excited about these entities, and that by connecting to these entities, they have co-created an experience that was perhaps expansive and one that was exhilarating by your own desires and needs. But the energies of information that has not flowed from that consciousness was done so for a specific reason. The amount of integration that your own consciousness has with both the energy and the race itself is allowing the information and connection from their energy to yours to be exactly timed in the way it needs to be to benefit your own understanding and co-creation to the highest degree. So what we can express to you in our own perspective, that if you were to look at another question concept and let that energy grow in a more organic way, perhaps that would be more beneficial to your energy. The amount of information that they are giving us to give to you is not theirs. Their own information connects more deeply to your own co-creative sphere in the moment. So if you will, you can ask any other question that you desire. That question in this moment is more so for your own personal integration, and will come to you in approximately the next 90 days of understanding. That question, amongst many other questions about this one race, will be understood to you by your own means and by co-created efforts.
Thank you so much, Narada.
Yes, of course, and we understand this is not always the greatest answer that you desire to hear, but the way that the co-creation is stationed in this moment for your own specific co-creation, it is the answer that we can give in this moment.
Okay. Alrighty, well, thank you, Jana, for your question. I don't think I'd heard of them before, too, so this is really interesting to me.
Yes, of course, these entities are very directly connected to Jana herself, and that connection process is one that is mostly integrated for the means of their own private form of communications.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I will do this next here. There we go. So our next question is also for you from Martin. And Martin says, thank you so much for the, oh, let me make sure this is a private message here. Oh, okay, yeah, it's good to read. It says, thank you so much for the amazing private session recently and personal communication afterwards. I am getting married today. Congratulations, by the way, Martin. And maybe even exactly when this question is being asked. Is there a message from any other guides or galactic family? Is there a message from any of our guides or galactic families that want to deliver about our union or soul mission in this incarnation?
Yes, of course, there are always entities for each and every one of you, but also for you, Martin, that connects to your direct energy. That direct energy co-creation is always one that is placed in most relevance and most excitement, as well as the highest effort of co-creation and the best outcome for all involved, specifically in this moment as you are receiving a partnership that is different than the partnership of the energies previously, and also different from the partnership that you have with your galactic family. One entity wishes to express a concept, and we will bring this entity forward. One moment. Dear friends and friends, dear friend and friends that are here, there is something exciting in the workings around you. There are many beings that are now stationed on Earth that you cannot see. They live in their own native bodies. Their bodies are physical. Your eyes cannot see them. Your technology doesn't know how to see them yet. They are sixth density beings. These beings are here for the benefit of all humans and many of your friends who listen now, and you are going to experience bumping into these beings very soon. Some of you will see them with their physical energies as orbs. Some of you will see them physically as shadows. Some of you will see them as blurbs of light. And all of you will feel the energy when you do bump into them. The energy will feel from a different range of an electric sensation flowing through your body to just an instant heart opening. All of that energy is meant for direct contact for those who are intuitively aware. The intuitive awareness of the planet you live on is growing each day, and these beings bring their own sacrifice of leaving their places, leaving their homes, leaving their missions to start a new mission. That mission is contact with Earth. This is happening now, but within the next 7 months, your time, the maximum amount of beings that can be in Earth in a sixth density form will be there. And many of you who are promised in your own minds and in your own energy and your life path to be a truth seeker, an energy feeler, and an intuitive psychic will be very happy to have that contact, because you are the ones these beings reach out for first. Why reach to a being who cannot receive the energy or information? Why reach out to a being who does not want to find the information or energy? All of you who are here now will receive one form or another of that feeling, one form or another of the direct information, and will receive it in your 7-month cycle or period of cycle. This is important because the energies that you're opening in yourself are being reflected by the energies that we're opening in Earth. This means that because your desire is to create energies, communications, and tribal form of co-creation, that we are now ready to do the same and are willing to be there for you. There are many different types of beings that will be there. We are just one. There are many of those beings who will reach out to other channelers and other psychics, and that will be an open form of communication to let them know verbally to the rest of humans that they're there. This will not set off chains of events that will be frightening, scary, or change the realm of the world that doesn't want to be changed. It will only give reassurances to many of you who have so longly desired your own experiences with things outside of your physical feeling receptors and outside of your normal human experience. Goodbye. We are back without hesitation all day.
One moment, Aridif, my computer crashed. I'm trying to get it back up.
Yes.
It's my technology weird day for me.
Yes, we understand. As we are waiting for Kalina, we will express the entity that brings forward the information that was previously speaking is a representation of a small collective consciousness. These entities make up over 38 different races of co-created collective consciousness. All of these entities within 38 races are ones who desire to co-create with human collective consciousness to a degree that will open up even more intuition and more psychic networking throughout the sphere of the Earth Collective. But in your own co-creations with these entities, there is no specific danger or no specific energy of fear that need to be accumulated from that experience unless that is what you desire to experience. But all of these entities are either from the type 2 benevolent range or even ones who are in the type 1 range. These entities are not trying to change your physical lives. They are not trying to shake up your existence. They are only placing themselves in alignment with the possibility of co-creation for those who are both receptive to that concept and who are open to the iteration of all of the consciousnesses that in us desire that co-creation. We thank you for this. Yes, we are not able to hear.
How about now?
Yes, much better, Kalina.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I suddenly everything shut off or it froze, and I thought, well, first I thought the video shut off, so, and then I realized my computer froze, so I had to reboot it.
Yes, and just as Rob said previously, much better, Kalina. This is the co-creation of technology once not achieving what it desired to it going into a co-creation where it is very clear in communication. We thank you for this.
Oh, thank you. I'm sure it'll be much better now. Okay, so
yes.
Let's see who we had next. And thank you. That was so amazing, and it cut off at the most interesting point, so I can't wait to hear what I missed. So thank you, Jenna, and thank you to the sweet being who was just speaking. Okay, so let's see who we have here. I need to make sure it's in the right spot. Oh, was that Jana's question last? Or was it, let me see. Lost my place. No, that was actually, I think that was Martin's question.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. All right, so our next question comes from Randy, who says, we all seem to do a lot of co-creating with ETs during our dream state. What exactly are dreams and how does this work? My dreams often seem like another reality, but I rarely remember seeing ETs in them.
Yes, of course. To understand the dream state is to understand your own multidimensionality. First of all, when you are in your physical body in this moment, you are directing your own focus of consciousness into the third density, but your physical body and conscious construct is within the fourth density. Although you are feeling the third density outcome, it is only because your belief system's focus and resistance to the entire co-created collective consciousness places you there. So understanding first that in your third density experience, you have a fourth density physical body, one that you have not fully attached to because of this delay of consciousness for the majority of human collective. Then you also have fifth density consciousness and sixth density consciousness. This is not in alignment with all entities, all beings within the galactic consciousness. In fact, it is a smaller percentage because you are carrying multidimensional DNA. Out of the 7 different races that co-created the human collective consciousness, it brought you 12 different DNA co-creations or samples integrated into your entire human DNA. From all of those 12 different versions within the 7 different races that co-created with you, this brought you a multi-dimensionality, one from each density and multiple in others. This gives you the opportunity to co-create your experience through meditation, through astral projection, and through dream state to shift into your higher dimensional consciousness. Let us use Rob for an example. His physical body sits within the third density experience, but vibrationally within the fourth density. He is able to access his fourth density body when he is co-creating sleep states, astral projected states, and even meditative states. When he is going into the higher realms of dream state, he is connecting to his fifth and sixth density bodies. And when he is co-creating an astral projected state with Treb Bor Yit NE, he is going between the fourth and fifth density. And Treb Bor Yit NE is bringing his own energy a bit down towards that co-creation. So that energy in and of itself shows you that each human has the capacity to go into each density and dimension with their own directed conscious thought and their own directed conscious connection to the higher self, the higher fractal consciousness, and the higher fraction of the fractal consciousness within their higher dimensionality. So looking at all of this, we step into the dream state exclusively, as that is specifically an area where you can go into all of the experiences above. The first layer of dream state is what we call the low astral projected state. This is where you are stepping into your fourth density experience and or stepping outside of your physical body, but experiencing and tagging your own direct energy into your third density experience. The majority of you who go into the low astral state are only experiencing third density, but a percentage of you are going to fourth density. That experience, you are leaving your physical body. You can go through any area of the Earth collective and sometimes outside of the Earth, but majoritively in the Earth, in any different time period and any different location. Some of you also traverse through different realities or versions of the Earth co-created collective. Some of you experience the apocalyptic style of world. That is not the Earth in the future. That is a version of your Earth that has already went through that change, and or a version that goes through the change in the future. That is not linking yourself directly to this version of Earth, but it can be any version of that Earth that you desire. Most of you who experience that are in the first layer of the dream state, at low astral projected state. The second layer of dream state consciousness is the high astral projected state. This level of consciousness is the exact version of the previous except for the fact that you are integrated into your fifth or sixth density consciousness, meaning that when you leave your physical body, you are able to see those higher dimensional beings around you. Many of you in the second layer of dream state are leaving the Earth consciousness. This is where you are visiting other planets. This is where you are visiting other experiences altogether. This is where you co-create with both ETs, extra-dimensional entities, and versions of your Earth and higher dimension. The third layer of dream state consciousness is what you call the template layer. That is a level that is between physical and non-physical reality in the highest dimension possible for physical reality. This is what you would call between sixth density and seventh density. This version at the template level of creation is where you are able to go and co-create anything that you desire. The majority of you who do this are not utilizing pre-made templates for the level of your own co-creation. You are creating entirely new worlds, experiences, or co-creative mechanisms. Let us use, for example, some of you who create the same apocalyptic version of your experience, and because there is no timeline that covers this, or at least no timeline that you are able to link to, you create that entire experience. You also have friends and family that are familiar to you. You can create those entities, whilst in your previous versions, first and second layer of dream state, anytime that you see a family member or someone that you know, there is a part of their own consciousness that is co-creating and connecting to in that moment. So let us say, for instance, you are in the very first layer of your dream state and you are with a cousin or your own partner, wife or husband. They are also giving a part of their consciousness to your dream state to allow a co-creation. That does not always mean, in fact, majoritively, it does not mean that they are dreaming the same dream, but they have given a portion of their consciousness to you for co-creation's sake. Some of this is 10% consciousness, 5%. It can be quite literally any percentage that they desire. If it goes over 40%, then often both of you are dreaming the same dream. But in that layer, they are giving you part. When you are at the template layer, in the third layer of dream state consciousness, there needs to be very small amounts of their consciousness. In fact, often it can be lower than 0.005% of their consciousness, meaning that when you are having, let us say, a sexual fantasy dream with an entity that either you do or do not normally in your awakened mind have sexual affinity towards, that entity often will not desire a co-creation with you. Therefore, they do not give you consciousness of theirs. You create the avatar of them, but because it is their own vibration, there must be a small percentage attached. Often when you are down to the lower percentages, 0.005 or less, this is often a very uncomfortable version of that entity that is given to you for your own sake of creation. Some of you project that sexual fantasy with another person because it is within your desire so strongly, but you know you cannot create it in the physical realm. So that would be given 0.005% of their consciousness just because you have physically reconstructed and constructed them in your reality of that dream state. Now, we can go much deeper and much further into this, but let us perhaps let us step back one bit and express that in all of the dream state layers, what you are doing personally is slipping into your higher dimensional self for the co-creative sake. And when you desire to remember or bring back those dreams, you must be in alignment with yourself before. When you are dreaming in the third layer of dream state or in a very high dimensional state, often the memories will come back as very odd or very weird, nonsensical. in most states. And the reason it is nonsensical to your own experience is because what is actually occurring is occurring in a higher dimension where you have no reference to understand. Let us use one quick example. There are many of you who are co-creating grid networks of energy in your sleep state with other races, with human collective consciousnesses, and with your soul family. So for those instances, you are literally going through geometric patterns, manifesting them from the template layer of creation and placing them in the sixth density consciousness. And then you are building a map of energy networking within those geometric patterns. You are doing this to help allow a co-creation on the physical realm. But because you cannot understand exactly what it is you are doing, because your conscious mind and human version of your mind does not understand the elaborate nature of building that network, you can often come into your dream state as a memory that you are putting a puzzle together, or that you are drawing shapes upon a paper in a classroom. It is a symbol that shows you that you are building something, but it is something that your human mind, your lower fractal consciousness, and your human experience can reference as that symbol. We believe this is sufficient for the time. We thank you.
Thank you, Aridif. First of all, everybody was saying that my microphone was still cracking up, and I'm wondering if you guys can tell me. I've moved my necklace and everything away, reset all the sounds. If you guys
Yes,
can let me
it's
know.
still quite disconnected from a clear sound.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do then. I'm going to sit in the same room as you guys. It won't be as good of a sound quality. Well, it will be now, but ideally it would have been better this way. So I'm going to mute myself now, and I'll be out there. I will just project my voice as much as I can, guys. Sorry about that.
Greetings, Kalina.
Greetings, Aridif.
Yes.
Okay. So, how does that sound, first of all, guys? I'm going to project my voice here.
We also pointed the microphone towards your direction.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, of course.
So sweet.
Yes, you are also sweet, Kalina.
Oh, okay. Okay. So it's an odd tech day for me, guys. Okay. So let's take a look here. Our next question. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank you, Randy, for your question. Our next question comes from Kari, who says, it's also for you, Aridif, who says, Aridif, I am feeling connected to a tall white I refer to as Sam, among many others. Can you explain my tall white connection history, and how is this benefiting me at this time? Much love.
Yes, of course. And first, when you dive into the connection to those that are considered tall, white beings, what you are perceiving is a multitude of different races. There are multiple entities that are within that physical structure of the tall, white beings. Your specific connection to this entity that is named Sam by your own mind is an entity that is directly within your oversoul. Your co-creation with this entity is a bridge of communication from multiple previous incarnations. When you first connected to this entity was not a tall white being at all. It was a human consciousness. It was in a previous incarnation where both of you were human and both of you were great and dear friends. That experience was in a time period that you call approximately 1420 in a southern ocean island. This island is not known by Rob's mind in this day what it is called, but it is in the southern ocean. And this island was inhabited by entities that are now perceived as indigenous beings, beings who were tribal by nature. Both of you co-created a great deal of happiness and joy with one another because both of your interests were in healing other people. The island was not very large in population. There were only a few hundred entities that lived there. And out of all of them, both of you were the best of friends. Both of you co-created healing processes for each and every entity upon the island at one time or another. You were there during the births of new children. You were there during the deaths of those that are old and sick. Each entity, whoever had ailment or illness, both of you helped co-creating healing. That is only the most relevant previous incarnation. This entity incarnated as a human well over 300 times, and out of the 300 incarnations, 12 of those incarnations were directly with you, and several dozen were both of you incarnated but not directly communicating in a friendship variety or a direct long communication, but both of you were within proximity and affected one another's incarnation. That experience brings this entity to you now. That entity, when it was upon the Earth Collective in 1400s, was a star seed, while you have had incarnations outside of Earth, a great deal of them, ever since the human incarnation cycle started, when the Anunnaki changed the DNA of humanity. From that point forward, you have had a great deal of incarnations in this Earth co-creative sphere. That entity now knows you. It knows you quite well, not just because of your previous incarnations, but your proximity in the Oversoul and your original thumbprint of consciousness being so similar. This entity co-creates with you now in dream states and even in conscious awareness of co-creation. And all of the entities that surrounds that being, the other tall whites that you are seeing, are other members of its race. This entity expresses to all of its own friends within that race, this is one of my oldest and dearest friends. This entity is one that I have co-created with throughout many lifetimes. Meet this person, connect with this person, co-create with this person. So this being and all of its friends truly desire to co-create that experience with you in terms of the co-creations in your past. Now, there are multiple points, variations of why your energy connects to these beings, but the most relevant we have laid out in front of you, and we thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Narada.
Yes, of course.
And I'm trying to project my voice some more because the microphone is across the way. Okay, and I also want to thank you, Kari, for your question. Our next question comes from Casey. And Casey says, is there any insight you can offer me on the crystal communication transmissions I am now involved in? How can this skill help the land and the living? Are we helping worlds meet? It is very new in this steady, continuous fashion, still regularly in the mind-blown state.
Yes, of course, and greetings. When you are looking at the crystalline co-creative spheres, when you are looking at the physical crystals themselves, and when you are looking at your higher fractal consciousness, there is a meeting of all of that energy. Just as if you are drawing 3 circles upon a paper and circling the areas where those circles interact and intersect, this is much as your own co-creation with both the first density elemental consciousness that create the crystals in the physical attributes and the consciousnesses throughout the thousands to millions of years where the crystals have been formed that have integrated from it from higher dimensional beings all the way through their own collective consciousness. You are starting to create that format of communication. When you are doing your crystalline communication, what is occurring? Your higher self is showing you an absolute path to co-create with those entities through visualizations. You zoom into the areas of the crystals that call to you, or you look at the crystal overall, and you are starting to see those shapes of co-creations with other entities that you are aware of. Let us use, for example, Treb Bor Yit NE's energy. There is a great co-creation that you feel with his own energy, a great love or affinity that you have for his consciousness. Your higher self allows a co-creation with the crystalline collective consciousness and the first density beings that are the physical crystal itself, and you co-create within that crystalline substance the version of Treb Bor Yit NE that is seeable to your physical eyes. There are times where you could show this crystal to another human, and they would not be able to see the same type of co-creation. This is due to the nature of your own personality and your own personal connection to the energy. But the crystalline collective consciousness is working at a much stronger degree now than it was when first starting this co-creation. This means that these entities are trying to create a more universal pattern within the crystal, so that all entities who try to co-create with you, who are open to co-create with you, will be able to see more detailed manifestations of your collective consciousness. As your higher self, your lower fractal, and the crystalline collective consciousness work together, the first density crystalline elemental consciousness is always willing to adapt and co-create with all of you. That is because the crystalline collective consciousness is a manifestation of hundreds of trillions of millions of first density elemental singular consciousnesses that are collected by nature. That degree is what most humans would call alchemy, or witchcraft, or elemental co-creative magic. You are now tapping into the elemental energy itself and allowing your co-creation with it. And for that, we thank you.
Thank you so much, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
And let's see where we are next. I also wanted to thank you too, Casey, I mean. Sorry, guys. Okay, so our next question comes from Derek. And Derek says, I would like to ask Aridif how non-dual awareness can be known and stabilized, and if this can be integrated with manifesting outcomes. Thank you.
Yes. Are you utilizing the word non-dual?
Yes, non-dual awareness.
Which...
You want to reread it?
No, we are understanding, but the actual definition of non-dual, meaning a singular.
Well, dual, more like two.
Yes, so non-dualistic.
I believe that's what he meant. Let me check with Derek to see if he's here.
Yes, our question would be, are you meaning a singular version of consciousness that is non-dualistic, or a multifaceted essence of consciousness when you are saying non-dual? This energy will give us the understanding that we require to participate with the co-created answer.
I'm waiting to see if Derek is here live. Of course, there's always a bit of a time delay.
Yes, of course.
I think he meant, okay, he says a singular. Thank you, Derek.
Yes, in repeating the question once again.
Absolutely. Okay, so the question is, I would like to ask Aridif how non-dual awareness can be known and stabilized, and if this can be integrated with manifesting outcomes. Thank you.
Yes, first of all, when you are looking at the concept of non-dualistic, what you are seeing is one side or version of energy. When you are looking at oneness, then you see the dualistic nature of the universe, because it is all a part of one and each part of each other. So when you are seeing that energy, what you can see is either the dualistic nature of the universe in its own entirety, or you can see 100% neutrality. We look within the spectrum of neutrality. We would not say that we have 100% mastered that concept because there are still things that we prefer and things we do not prefer. That is because we are in a physical body. That is because even though we are type 1 and we have integrated the majority of our higher fractalized consciousness, we are still not non-physical. That perspective of seeing everything from the most neutral perspective, not seeing any duality at all, is that of a non-physical nature. Any version of physical entity that you are or ever will be will have a percentage of either seeing things the dualistic nature or having a perspective of slight disconnection. Now, we understand this confuses a great deal, many of you. Many of you have a belief system that where when you are fifth density being or sixth density being, you are perfectly attuned to the universe. And although this is much more true than the level of, at the level of consciousness where you were in third density versions of their own lives, then yes, that is true. Our own perspective is much higher than it once was. But as long as you inhabit a physical body, you are not fully connected to the universe in the way that you would perceive fully connectedness. Now, when I am able to look into the consciousness that I desire, I am always able to find the information I need. But because my awareness is fixated in one area, I do not have access to all things at once. That is why when you express that higher dimensional or density beings are all-knowing and all-aware, yes, they are to what they are excited about connecting to. And yes, they are when they connect to a certain concept or energy because they are able to access all access points of information and flows of energy towards it. But what about all of the things that they are not looking at? For instance, my own consciousness has seen a great deal of the Milky Way galactic collective consciousness. I have also seen parts of the Andromedan collective consciousness, the IC 1101 collective consciousness, etc. All of these different galactic consciousnesses I have seen, but there are many of the galactic consciousnesses I have never focused my attention to. Therefore, I do not have access to that information. When you see that in the terms of all entities within their physical body are not fully able to connect to all it is in that moment, only by their decision and pointing their awareness towards something, then to one degree or another, all of you have that accessible within you now. All of you have the capacity to do that in this moment. In that case, when you are looking at the oneness of all things that are around you, the integration process is one that comes in form of evolution, meaning that in your third density experience, you will not see as much oneness as you will in fourth. In fourth density, you will not see as much oneness as in fifth. In fifth, you do not see as much as sixth. And when you are non-physical, even levels of that integration will be producing higher accuracies and higher percentages, the higher in the densities that you go. Let us use, for example, the oversoul consciousness. The oversoul consciousness is able to see a great deal each and every lifetime that it is ever connected to. Above it, it is able to see the earth entire collective co-created collective consciousness and other oversouls. But when you look at the high seventh density, the entire 144,000 oversouls and twin souls that are co-created, and they all connect for one collective consciousness, it has a higher capacity to see oneness than just the version of the singular oversoul. And when you look above the seventh density into the eighth density, you see a solar system collective having much more capacity to see oneness. So it is never about how much of the universe you can integrate in seeing the oneness. It is the amount of oneness that you feel when you are looking at things. It is the level or amount of things that you are able to perceive while focusing your energy upon it. In that case, what we can suggest to you, in order to integrate more of the versions of oneness yourself in your experience, is start seeing yourself in the energy of being the larger version of energy that you truly are. Most of you express, I am only human. I have limited capacity. And we have backed up that idea with you greatly by expressing division of consciousness and from what most of you perceive hierarchies of consciousness. But knowing that you have the capacity to focus upon any one thing and see all oneness in it should give you the indication that just because you are seeing on a smaller scale does not mean the power or depth of your connection is less. It only means you have a capacity to explore less around you. Look at an entire planet, let us say Earth, then magnify yourself down to one of your insects, the ant. How much smaller is the ant? The ant is a great deal smaller. It does not mean it cannot achieve the same versions of perspective that the entire Earth or an eagle that flies 1 mile high in the sky can see. It is only that perspective. If you can perceive the non-dualistic version of energy that lies within you, then you could see it externally. You are one fractal consciousness of creator energy, meaning you have the capacity to do all that the creator energy does, which means see yourself truly in the oneness you are, just on a smaller level or smaller percentage. We thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Arda.
Yes.
I'll let you take a sip of water. And I also want to thank Derek for your question also.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so our next question comes from Marilyn, and she says, Aridif, can you provide insight and clarification regarding disappearing object phenomena? More specifically, the experience of an object being swapped out for another. Thank you. You are so very loved.
Yes, of course, and you are also loved, and we also love you. So, looking at the concept of disappearing object phenomena, we believe that you express this. Now, we do not know the specific terms that you are speaking of, but we understand the concept or idea. First of all, it is not an object that disappears from your experience. It is not an object that is replaced in your experience. What is truly occurring whenever you feel as if something has disappeared or something is swapped out is you are changing the version of the co-created Earth collective consciousness that you are in. We have often expressed this through terms of the Oversoul. You are one fractal of consciousness within the Oversoul. That fractal of consciousness is then divided again as the higher fractal consciousness and the lower fractal consciousness. The lower fractal consciousness, approximately 15% of the overall entity that you are. The higher percentage is approximately 85%. And your higher fractal consciousness is the version that can connect to the Oversoul. But the lower fractal consciousness is what dictates and what mandates the free will experience that you have. So, when you believe that an object has been misplaced, it is your lower fractal consciousness is making decisions in its day-to-day life. It is creating vibration of the frequencies of fear, of love, of anger, of joy, of happiness, all of the different emotions and energies that you carry, the belief systems that surround your being, the actions that cause your thoughts to turn into parts of physical reality, all of those things in a complex formula allow you to manifest in real time in your own vibrational frequency. But your frequency is shifting all the time. You are your own creator. You are the projector of the universe around you. So if you look in your old classrooms and you watch the projector, you are the realm of film. You are the light that illuminates. You are the energy that pushes the screen in front of you. That lower fractal consciousness is the part that dictates all of the rest. And that is why we have expressed previously, although most humans perceive their higher self or oversoul to be the boss of them, the lower fractal consciousness is what dictates all experience. So Your fractal that you are is much more powerful in terms of what and how you experience than even your higher self. Remind yourself of this as we go forward. Secondly, when you are changing your film on the projector, each new clip is the projection of consciousness around you that your vibration is dictating. So when you see yourself standing on the left side of the screen and then the right side of the screen, you have changed your vibration to move to the right. That means perhaps a decision was made, perhaps a belief system was enforced or relieved of resistance. No matter what your vibration changes, you are then changing the version of the projection around you. So you are in one earth in that moment. You are in another earth when you stand on the right of the screen. The way that that specific nature of the mechanics works is that your oversoul is created a state of consciousness called the twin soul, and that twin soul is the area and the mechanical entity behind the changing of that vibration. We've expressed this through many terms and many examples, but one that is easiest for most humans to understand is the deck of playing cards. You put your deck of cards in front of you and spread it out as far as you can to the right and left. When you take the very center card, that is your vibration now. That is who you are, what you are, your thoughts, beliefs, all of this. Then, let us say you change your mind about what you desire to eat for supper. Now you go one card to the right. You change your mind about what clothing you wear. You go one card to the left. You pull that card. That is your new experience because you have thought different thought. You've changed a different perspective. Your alignment is now slightly different. So you are now being transferred to the version of Earth that is in alignment with you changing your socks. Now, let us say you are dealing with larger decisions. Should I get married? Should I get divorced? This energy is much larger shift of vibration. Now you are going 4, 5, or 6 cards to the left, or 4, 5, or 6 cards to the right. Now you are thinking, should I be a Christian, or should I be an entity who believes in no religion? Now you are going further out. Now you are talking about fundamental base constructs of belief systems. You are going 20 cards out. Now you are saying, I want to be a 1-year-old again. Now you are going backwards in time. You are shifting your vibration against the grain of your beliefs. So first of all, you would not be able to shift that because most of your beliefs about linear time and the ways you was experienced. But using that as an example, you are now going thousands of cards out to the left or right. When you desire to make a decision, to act, to think, or to feel, you're consciously and unconsciously picking a different card out of your deck. The twin soul takes that card and hands it to the oversoul so that reality can be focused upon. All of the other cards are still being played out in one reality or another, but your focus is not on them. Let us say you have a distant relative who does not see you very frequently. They are experiencing those other versions of your card because they are also their own projector. They are also their own experiencer. They are also an entity who desires to have the specific version of you to co-create with them that you are not focused in that moment. So now they are creating with your other cards while you are creating with another card of theirs because you are both not in the same alignment. This is how parallel realities occur. This is how multiple dimensionality can occur with having multiple experiences of one thing from different perspectives. This is also how your own vibration can remember something that was there that is no longer there, or remember something was there that is now being switched out. The same goes for your mandala effect. It is not the world that changes instantly. It is your vibration that took you to the world where all of the things that you once thought were changed. That vibrational frequency is your own control and will always be your lower fractal consciousness in the driver's seat of that experience. We thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Marilyn and Aridif.
Yes.
Okay, so our next question comes from Salesh, and he says, and actually this is for Treb, so I'll wait for Treb to come in.
One moment. Good evening, Kalina.
Good evening, Treb Bor Yit NE.
Yes, it is a very exciting day as well.
Yes, it is. We love you so much, Treb. Thank you for being with us.
Yes, and I love you as well.
Aww. Okay, so your first question is from Salesh, and he says, for some reason now I have not felt any excitement or seem to have had any clear motivation for anything in life. I am not depressed or feeling anxious. If anything, I feel contented. So if you can read into my energy field and explain to me exactly what is happening or any suggestions that you may have. Thank you, and to quote Aridif, you are loved.
Yes, and you are loved as well. When you are looking at your own energy, you see an entity that is not acting upon certain ideas, that is not excited about other ideas. So in your mind, you see yourself as being in a non-moving state and seeing yourself as not advancing in certain things or certain experiences. This is not something that is uncommon. It is not something that is bad as well. As you know, your feeling content comes from a level of your own energy that is just wanting some peace and quiet. There has been so many times in your life where you had to act, where you had to go forward, where you had to proceed or make decisions. And now you are feeling an integrating of your own higher self subconsciously. And that integration requires the physical body to slow down, the mental body to slow down, and also the action mechanism to slow down as well. As you go through that energy, feeling the different vibrations and feeling the different energies that are subtle, that go into your chakra systems, you do not have the energy to continue pushing yourself in other directions or gaining excitements about new things or doing something that is not going to be best for you. So when you look at your own energy, excitement will come eventually. When it does, just remember to act upon that excitement when it comes and be aware of yourself in the most honest way that you can. That excitements come from one place or the other, and one place is a true excitement and alignment with your heart or mind or chakra. The other comes from others saying that you should be excited. Your environment that is around you saying you should be excited, your culture, economy, partners, friends, all of those things. So when you know that it is your genuine excitement and no others, and when you know that you have finally come to a place where your resting is done and action is needed, then you'll be faced with that opportunity and can choose to act upon it.
Thank you so much, Treb.
Yes!
And Salesh for your question. Okay, so let's take a look at the second round of questions. Find those. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to cycle it back around in the order they came. Here we go. Okay. So, round 2. Let me look and see, first of all, why you're here, Treb, to see if... While you're here, we've got a couple more questions for you. And I'll read those questions out.
Yes!
We have another question from Kari who says, Treb, thank you for showing me your smiling face. I have had a vision recently of a suppressed reptilian family that brought me to tears. What can you tell me about this vision, and how can I be of service in helping heal this part of the timeline? Thank you and love.
Yes! When you are looking at these entities and when you are perceiving this repressed version of reptilian family that is connecting to your visions and your dream states and your higher self, what these entities are representations of the versions of reptilian energies within the Earth Collective, and some even within yourself. We know that you have released a great deal of judgment about reptilian energy, about reptilian consciousness, and you love the reptilian energy very strongly. But there are 2 levels of energy within you about the reptilians. One of them is a fear that you have not released all of your judgments, a fear that you are not fully accepting the version of reptilians that are around, or that are creating, or that are co-creating with the Earth. And another level and layer within your own self that does not fully see the version of reptilian energy that is within you, and creation of energy that is actually a judgment within yourself. That energy is only created because of your first subconscious, conscious, and unconscious fears of judging yourself in the first place. This is what many people call the catch-22, where you are thinking about not thinking about something, which makes you think more about this something, which creates that something to begin with. So when you start thinking about judgment, know that all of your energy has went towards love, towards the energy of reptilians, that accepting yourself more and more will help release that energy of energies you haven't accepted. And also know it is not your job to create happiness or positivity towards reptilians in the Earth, that you don't have to feel pressured about doing this or convincing others that they must not be racist against reptilians or rude towards all reptilians. And just know that by shining your light within yourself shows them the example and shows them how to love reptilians and how to connect to reptilian energy without judgment as well. The more that you share with your words to others, the more that you share with your smile with others, and the more that you share from the way that you feel about reptilians, the more the Earth Collective feels that positive energy and lets go of the resistant energy.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh. All right. So we have a final question for you, Treb. And this comes from Derek. And Derek wants to know if you have some advice on how to access and manifest love when negative emotions appear to be in the ascendancy. Thank you.
Yes. When you are looking at the energy of love, what does this mean to you? It means, to our own perspective, the ability to open yourself and be yourself and connect yourself. So when you are feeling negative emotions, what does this mean to yourself? Ask yourself and be very truthful and honest with yourself. Also, as Aridif has suggested to many, look at your 10-step process about what it is that you perceive love or negative emotions to be in your experiences. And then when you start looking at your own definitions, it will tell you a great deal about conceptions that are very positive and conceptions that can carry resistances. When you look at the energy of the overall love that you carry, knowing that that can circumvent and bypass all of the energies that are negative emotions, then there is nothing truly to worry about. When you start feeling negative experiences or emotions, those are not negative things that need to be overlooked or need to be passed on quickly. What they are those little red flags that are telling you and warning you that what you are experiencing is out of alignment with your higher self and with the essence of being that you are. So by looking at what causes the negative emotions, what you are actually doing is creating a form of love. You are creating love for yourself, you are creating love for others, you are creating love within the energy of creating the thoughts. So that energy, just knowing that the negative emotion is placing you out of alignment with yourself, look at why you are feeling the way you are. Look at what specifically you think is causing that anger or anxiety or negativity. And then ask yourself, are you being truthful about that? Some of the times when you say, the reason I am upset is because no one can understand me, but it is not that really or truly that is causing the anger. The anger is caused because you are feeling that you are going to be misunderstood because you are a complex individual. Seeing the difference of the energies of what you say you feel, that brings up the energy, and what truly is bringing up the energy. Just seeing that makes the emotion less difficult and less strong within you. That is because you are now seeing what the alignment of your true self is and knowing what put you out of whack in the very first place. After you see that, after you feel that, after you recalibrate that energy, love is the only natural recourse.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
All right. Well, Treb, I love you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for coming in and answering the questions that we had for you.
Yes, you are very welcome, and it is very exciting as well.
Did you want to add anything before you go?
Yes, I will leave you all in love and in light, and we will experience each other again very soon.
Yes, we will. We love you, Treb, and tell Rob hi from us.
Yes, the host is very aware, and I will now leave you another night and experience each other again. Good night.
Good night, sweet Treb. Welcome back if you do.
We are back without hesitation all delay. Yet again, this is Aridif.
All right. We're getting down to the last questions. We have a question from Joseph, who says, what is the most important message that my higher self or guides would like to share?
Yes, of course. When you are looking at the higher self compared to the guides, it is much different. The higher self, one moment. Yes, the higher self looks at the concept in an entirely different way. It expresses the desire for you to be happy. It expresses a desire for you to get in alignment with your truest nature, excitement, and what you feel is best for you, while other guides are bringing forward more personal information for your growth or for their own desire to connect with you. For instance, there is an entity that deeply desires to connect to your own chakra system. This is not out of a sense of desiring to attach itself, but only to help give its own energy of excitement, love, and co-creation with your chakra system in order to manifest greater co-creations with one another. This is out of a place of co-creative excitement. That entity in its own desire to create gives you the opportunity to create that energy with it or not, but the other entities have much different desires to co-create with you. There is one entity that expresses it has worked with you in dream state for several months, and through that co-creation, it has given you 3 opportunities to bring forward great memories of what has occurred in the dream state back to your lower fractal consciousness energy. And in that co-creation, you have always expressed that you do not wish to bring that back. That creation was so large or overwhelming for the lower fractal consciousness that your higher dimensional self expressed, no, we will not create that version. But when your lower fractal consciousness is asked, you say, yes, of course, I desire to bring that co-creation into my memory, into my awakened state. So all of these entities looking, co-creating experiences with you for one reason or another, whether it is through their own desire to create, whether it is their own perception of what they believe that you desire to co-create, or what they believe could be best for the co-creative atmosphere between the both of you. The overall energy is that in your own growth, co-creating and creating, that finding the alignment with your higher self will help your own consciousness utilize all of the different degrees of energies. So what we can tell you is your higher self is expressing to you this concept. Work from the heart first, then work from the area of yourself. What we believe they are trying to express within this construct is open your heart to love, open your heart to relationships, communication. Then, when you are giving that love, when you are giving those forms of communication, look at the way you represent yourself in your 3rd chakra to others, but more so to yourself. When you say to another person, I am a loving person, there's part of yourself that does not believe that, because you know the internal dialogue that occurs. You know how easy it is to be upset or angry and to yell at someone within your mind without verbally saying so. So you have judged yourself a great deal on the internal dialogue. But what the higher self is telling you, what truly matters, is not the internal dialogue. It is what you do with it. It is how you act. It is what you set your belief systems into. When your inner dialogue goes negative, do you adopt that inner dialogue as new beliefs? No. You realign yourself back to your originating beliefs that are less restrictive. You are acting upon the positivity instead of the negative inner dialogue. That is what is important. Your higher self continues as you go through, also open your throat energy. That means create with others, verbalize, express to the world exactly what is going on with your energy, emotions, and co-creative desires. This will help you gain access to more of those spirit guide styles or galactic guides energies. We thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Aridif.
Yes.
Thank you, Joseph, for your question. Our next question comes from Jana, who says, please give additional information about how to energize the chakras.
Yes, of course. First of all, energizing the chakras. That means a great deal of different things to many of you, but for most of you it means to utilize the maximum capacity or additional capacity to the chakra system. Now, when you are working, one of the techniques that both Rob and ourselves have utilized to teach others in humanity is to play with your voice. Utilize your throat chakra to help vibrate upon a physical and non-physical and semi-physical level. When you utilize the oming sound, where where do you feel that in your physical body? Rob's is bouncing between the throat and the heart. Oh, 2 chakras are now being vibrated more. How can a chakra that is semi-physical in nature be vibrated by a physical voice? Feel in your own body. It is semi-physical for a reason. The electromagnetic energy that is there for a reason, so that your physicality can interact with and affect those energies. And so outwardly, it can also utilize the voice mechanism. No, no. And we have shared a great deal about the throat chakra, the vibrations throughout some of your techniques that we have taught through this specific auspice of Patreon. Going through all of the energies in vibration of throat chakra will help expand the vibration and lift the vibration. Another technique to work on to absolutely connect more deeply to each chakra is a visualization process. When you are visualizing a chakra, you are connecting your own energy to the now moment of the chakra sensation, flow, energy of direction. The more that you become aware of your chakras, the more energy you can manipulate from it, to push or to pull from one chakra to the next, to build chakra energies atop one another. All of these different techniques, you must first be aware of your chakra. So we also express visualizing those chakras independently, each one on its own accord with its own vibration. If you are not aware of what a chakra is or what each chakra does, then look through the information available. The majority of human chakra information is quite accurate in the themes that are played along, but also look at the densities that correlate with those vibration chakras. You will find even more expansion on the feeling. When you get your own energy flowing, bring up from the earth energy and down from the grid system simultaneously. Be aware of the amount of energy that comes in you. Place your intent to direct even more energy through. And even though most of you will not use all the energy that is brought through, the more energy that you intentionally bring through, the more that you can utilize once you have released resistance from chakras. That is the last concept that we will share with you about chakras, is relieving the resistances within your chakras will also give you the higher capacity to utilize the chakra system as a whole. And this would make sense, just as if you are putting water through a hose and placing little metallic blocks throughout the hose, gluing them to the edges. Not as much water can go through. The water pressure will increase. There will not be the same flow of energy through that hose. But once you release all of the resistances, you have a pure flowing hose and a pure flow of energy. So releasing resistance, and you can do this in multiple ways. But the one way that will give you the longest lasting effect is go through the 10-step process. Find out what your negative emotions are, where they are coming from. Reroute the system with positive thought connotations and truthful essences from your higher self. When you do this, you are not just changing your emotion, releasing blockage. You are rewriting the way that your mind, heart, and consciousness work together. We thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Aridif.
Yes.
All right. And also to, who was that? Was that Martin?
No, it was Jana.
Jana. Okay, sorry. Okay, so our next question comes from Randy, who says, I've heard the Zeta Reticuli Greys use biological robots when visiting a human during sleep. Dolores Cannon called these the little Greys, and that the actual ET Greys stay in the spaceship. Is this true or always the case?
Yes, it can be true, of course, but it is not always the case. There are many entities who physically come into the human's physical space and experience. There are many different versions of gray beings, but the Zeta Reticuli themselves are able to manifest physical energies and co-create with humans themselves. So this is not always true, but they do have mechanical equipment or manifestations of lower dimensional consciousness that can interact with humans also, so that their physical bodies do not need to co-create directly with him.
Is that it?
Yes, we
Okay.
thank you for this.
All right. Just wanted
We
to-
must also ask, what is the amount of questions that are left?
I think it's 3. Let me double check here.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Actually, it's 4. I don't know how many you wanted to do out of that.
What is the approximate time?
It's 4:10 right now.
Yes. 4 questions. If we are able to answer them in a quick manner, we will take all 4.
Okay.
But Rob's physical body is only able to take approximately 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh, I understand.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started.
Yes.
Our next question comes from, did I read Martin's yet?
No, the last one was from an entity. One moment.
No, it was Randy.
Yes.
Okay.
The entity which asked about gray consciousness.
Sorry, when I threw in Treb, I'm having to remember what questions go where.
Yes.
So, okay. So, Martin's question for you is, can you tell me about my current average levels, embodiment of higher fractalized consciousness, and DNA activation levels? I know this is fluctuating.
Yes, we understand. And in this moment, when you are asking the question before going into your ceremonial responsibilities, what did occur was approximately 17.5% of the integrated higher fractal consciousness into the lower fractal. So that 17.5% lower fractal consciousness of your overall entity. The DNA mechanism that is relating to your own vibration, this is something that we cannot measure upon a scale in the same way that we would your lower versus higher fractal consciousness. What we can tell you is that you have already started opening up the circuitries of your Syrian DNA, Pleaidian DNA, and started working with your Arcturian DNA also. So working from those energies, you are starting to open more and more of that energy upward. We thank you for this.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so our next question comes from Casey, who says, can you tell me why Rob is somewhat steadily showing up in the crystal transmissions?
Yes, of course. And this goes back to the construct in which we covered previously. Your excitement is helping to dictate the co-creative atmosphere with the higher fractal consciousness and the co-creation with elemental consciousness and the crystalline co-created collective consciousnesses. Your own energy is within an excitement of Rob. It is within an excitement of ourselves and in an excitement with Kalina. All of these entities that you are co-creating with in that exciting atmosphere will always dictate the version of your higher self's co-creation with the elemental beings. Also, the elemental consciousnesses that are ground or earth are deeply connected to Rob's own energy. Although the water elemental energy, the air, all of the elementals are connected to all of you. The earth elemental itself, ground or solidity and rocks, and earth itself as an element is deeply connected to Rob's own energy. Therefore, they are already aware of Rob's energy. They are already aware of your lower fractal. And when your higher self comes to play the ball game with him, it is co-creation of great fun for all of you. Rob's energy will continue to appear within that co-creation as long as your own excitement is still focused upon his energy and our energy also. We thank you for this.
Thank you.
Yes, of course.
All right, our next question comes from Marilyn, who
Yes.
says, Aridif, as someone who had life cycles as a Lemurian, how can I best initiate and strengthen my connection with my Lemurian energies and family? Thank you so much. You are so very loved.
Yes, you're also loved and we love you. And when you desire to connect to any of the incarnations in your past that you are aware of, what is the one thing that we can suggest to you that will give you the best outcome? Of course, it will be to integrate all of the energy of the co-creations that you are aware of. For instance, when you are looking at Numerian constructs, go into what your own scientists, what your own spiritual teachers, what your own average person you come across knows about that energy. Some will tell you it is negative, some will tell you it is positive, some will tell you it is real, and others fantasy. But gaining access to others' co-creational energies will be useful. There will come a time where you ask 100 people about this energy and one answer will resonate with you. But going through the 99 that do not resonate with you, that one will be especially important for your co-creative understanding of your creation and tied to that energy. Also, going into meditative states with that version of energy at the forefront of your mind in visualizing the construct of the Earth collective consciousness. Watch it go through steps of time. Go into the place or time period in history where you feel they were most pertinent. Don't do this from watching a timeline video on your YouTube would be, where Earth is a bare rock and turns with trees and then goes through different steps. Do it vibrationally. Look at the Earth, turn the colors of the Earth, the shapes of the Earth, whatever your free flow desires. And when you come to the area of symbolic energy, colors, and shapes that you feel are resonant, freeze that Earth there in your mind. Integrate drawings of that Earth. Remember it with your mind so you can pull back that picture in your mind and co-create the Earth connecting to different stars that you are aware of. For instance, going into the star that you once would call Betelgeuse, connect the star to that star, and then connect your star to Earth when it is imposed as that specific shape, color, and patterns upon it. Connect it also to other stars that are interesting to you, such as Capella or Deneb. All of those different versions of connecting other stars to yours and your star to the Earth when it is in that pattern will help bring different spectrums of energy into that co-creation. We thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Aridif.
Yes, of course.
And our final question for this webinar comes from Celeste, who says, what entities, galactic family, or members of my soul group are currently trying or communicating with me? Thank you, and you are loved.
Yes, you are loved also. It is a great deal of entities, as you are aware. You have energies that co-create very normal versions, VTs, that visit with human collective consciousness. Syrian energy is around and about your own energy, Pleaidian, Arcturian energy. But there are other races that humans are not fully aware of that are co-creating with you too. There are multiple avian hybrid human races that are connecting to you. There are one avian race, specifically an avian alone race. There is also two reptilian hybrids. One of them is human reptilian hybrid. The other are two different versions of reptilians that are hybrid. You have gray hybrid with reptilian and grays that are hybrid with insectoids that are connecting. Now, all of these entities aren't directly communicating with you at every moment of every day, but their energy is with you now. The co-creation of asking a question is important, but what you receive back is going to give you the opportunity to shine the light on the information. One entity that desires to bring forward a message or information to you specifically steps forward as the entity that you perceive as the reptilian hybrid of two different reptilian races. One moment, we will connect you. Wake up in your dreams. Remember the dreams. It's important for you to focus harder on your dreams and remember what happens with them. I've tried sharing multitudes of energy and information with you, and you have not been able to remember. You can do it by focusing your pyramid energy. Focus inside of your third eye, a three-dimensional pyramid with 4 sides. Focus that in your third eye, standing upwards with a point facing up. Then in your crown chakra, have a 4th dimensional cube in your crown chakra and let that spin on its axis. Visualize those energies before you sleep. There are many stories I need to share with you, and I can't do it with limiting time, but I can give you the way to open that energy. I want to talk about a lot of different energies from your experience and my experience with other earthlings. Thank you. We are back without hesitation or delay yet again. This is Aridif. We wish to express it has been our greatest excitement to co-create with all of you in this day. By co-creating, we are all giving one another opportunity to expand and create energy of expansion and knowing, expansion and feeling, and expansion of experience altogether. For this we thank you. Kalina, we also say greetings to you and also thank you for your co-creation as well.
Oh, thank you, Aridif, and thank you for being with us. I love you.
Yes, we love you also, and you are loved.
Yes, you are loved.
We wish to express to all of you that we bid you adieu for this evening. You are loved.
Adieu.
Oh,
Welcome back, sweetie. Oh, you knocked your coffee down, too.
that was silly. All right.
Welcome back.
Hey, there's a microphone blocking the camera.
Yeah, my second microphone went kaput after my computer froze. And the other microphone went bad, and then I had to come out here.
Okay, well, I'm going to shut down the camera for a second, guys, because I need to jump up and use the restroom real quick. And Kalina will talk to you until I get back. So 1 second here. Microphone's still on.
Oh, yeah,
So
I have to yell, though.
Or you can come closer, whatever you want to do. Here, let me move the microphone closer to you then, so you don't have to yell. But I got to use the restroom.
Here, I got it.
There we go.
Yay. Oh,
timber.
that's probably going to hurt their ears.
Sorry if you guys got your
Just
ears.
so you guys know, that was not me. I had so many things going on with my.
There you go.
Oh, it's okay. There we go.
Yeah, it's on. It's on.
Sweet.
Everyone can hear you.
Okay, so what did you guys think? I think we got everybody's questions asked, didn't we? Twice.
Nice.
Well, not everybody had a second question, but I know that I think 7 or 8 of you guys had 2 questions. Oh, you guys are so sweet. We really appreciate you guys coming out here today and co-creating this experience with us. I always learn new things too. Aw. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, guys. You guys are so sweet. I was curious. I want to ask you guys something because we ran out of time. I actually wanted to ask Aridif and or Treb a question, whoever was there. But I had a dream last night. It's kind of like complicated to explain, and maybe I've done this before, but I actually bilocated in a dream state. So it was like I was in 2 places at once. It was really cool. My focus was more on one place than another, if that makes sense. But it's like the other aspect of me, well, again, it's hard to explain because there's so many things going on. But one aspect of me was walking through these like on a wooded area, and I was looking up the sky, and in the distance there were these UFOs whistling by, and was just really connecting to that. But simultaneously, I was also attending some sort of red carpet event in Hollywood. It's like, it looked like, I think it was some kind of, I don't know what it's called, the Oscars, Emmys, whatever they are. I don't even remember who does what where, because I don't really follow that too much. But it was some kind of actors award. You know what I mean? So it's like, and even as I was in the woods, it's like I could hear what was going on there, but I was really more focused on what was going on in the woods and really wanting to make contact. But at the same time, I could get flashes of imagery of what was going on with this red carpet Hollywood event. So it was just interesting because they were completely different, two completely different experiences. And there's a lot that I'm leaving out because I just don't really have the time. And like I said, some of it, I don't even, you guys probably know what I mean. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. But it felt very profound to me because I was becoming aware, because I remember as I was taking the walk in the woods, because that's where more of my consciousness was placed, I was curious, how am I able to be two places at one time? So it was really interesting. I'm just curious, have you guys had that too? I'm reading your stuff now. Let's see. Jana says, it makes sense by location and dream state. I've had that before. I am a character in the dream and experiencing it, and also an observer standing away from it all. Yeah, that's exactly. It was interesting because it was more like I could hear the Hollywood thing. If I put more attention for a second, I could be there, but I kept getting drawn back more into the woods. But I was in two places at once. It was really exciting, and I know. And Rob is still waking up, waking up in the sense of getting grounded. It kind of gave me a glimpse into maybe an idea of what it's like as new 5D beings, of the experience of bilocation. We're experiencing these things with, like what Marilyn talked about with, and Aridif talking about like the objects that are switching out. I've been experiencing that, or entire things changing. I actually want to talk to Aridif more about like the whole concept of this mandala effect that's been going on, because I mean, I've definitely been noticing things Rob and I'll have entirely different, and everybody experiences things from different perceptions, but we'll have completely different experiences just that don't match up. And it's kind of funny. And then the next day we might suddenly match up again. It's just very interesting. And let's see, Jenna says, well, if we think about fractal consciousness, it makes sense. 15% in one place, 15% in another. And you still have 70% left to do the higher fractal duties. So that's really cool, and we know Treb likes to do this a lot, but it makes sense too, because, Treb and Narada talk about when we have certain emotion or thought, and if we have a cup, we'll place more, and in another cup, another. And it makes sense though, as our consciousness expands, then we can place more consciousness in different cups, and we don't get overwhelmed. Woo! That's so cool. But that's fun. I just noticed we have so much more access in the dream state. So I've really been working on remembering and working on getting more contact through the dream state and through astral. To me, sometimes I might be astral projecting, but thinking I'm dreaming. And Rob knows more about that. But I'm going to give the microphone back to you, baby. If you wanted to
you can just tilt
add to the conversation, or if you're just too pooped out and you need to.
I was content listening to you.
I don't want to hurt their ears because it's rattling.
Yeah, this thing's not balanced. 1 second, everybody.
I don't know. We should. I wish one of my AI guys would have come and assisted us. I'm sure he would have put all our technology to shame. We got little bitty baby technology compared to him.
Squish bot.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, everybody, that I'm so happy, grateful that you guys showed up today. Everyone who participated and everyone who sent in a question, everybody who's going to be listening later, and everybody in our Patreon, everyone on our YouTube, everyone who comes to the events. I'm very excited. And for you Patreon people, we are going to Asheville. We're going to be leaving in just a few days, a couple days. When we do, we're going to have lots of behind-the-scene footage, lots of our traveling experiences on camera. And it might take us a week or two to get it around to you guys like it always does, but we're going to be sharing a lot of stuff about our Asheville trip with you guys because it's important. The Asheville trip is amazing, and a lot of you guys live in other countries and can't get to the U.S., or others that live close enough but I have to work, or whatever the case is. We want you guys to have access to the energies that we're doing there. So I just want to thank you guys so much for your part in today. And thank you everybody on YouTube who's watching. And me and Kalina love you guys with all of our hearts. And
Yes, we do.
very, very happy to be a part of your guys' journey. I'm going to turn it over to Kalina to close up for the day. I love you guys.
I love you guys too. And that's really all I got to say, other than just thank you for co-creating with us, and also being so loving and understanding with the technology. We will, I guess we need to buy some new mics and stuff. It's time. It's that time. So we love you guys, and we look forward to seeing you next time over here. And we have some more goodies in store for you guys, so stay tuned. Much love.
Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.